Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live. Talk about episode 10 of Shokugeki no Soma, Sen no Sara, or the Third Plate. And this episode pretty much played out exactly what, I assumed it would, amount to. Basically, that being Kurokiba, Ryo, beating Rentaro, Central's Rentaro, or Ren. And, kind of sort of handing him his ass. I mean, they were both making salmon dishes. And as much as I am not very much like a fish guy, I actually would have wanted to taste both of these. This episode was very largely, I mean, they get the ball rolling, before credits, with the Shokugeki going on between these two characters, and the rest of the episode is a lot of explanatory dialogue about what went into the production of these dishes. And I think this episode, the most redeeming factor of this episode, for me, is how it illustrates the shonen-ness of Shokugeki no Soma. It's kind of like a battle. I mean, this is almost two warriors, sword-wielding warriors going up against each other, and it's kind of a teeter-tottering chess game, a battle of muscle and brawn and everything, and not so much intellect, even though the intellect, there is a level of intellect that goes into knowing how to prepare all these various, ingredients and spices and all these kinds of things, and marinating and whatever like that. There is a level of intellect that comes into play there, but I'm picturing like a battle, a brute force battle between these two warriors, and as is cut from the shonen cloth, around every other piece of dialogue, there's a little bit of a flip, a table turn, where it's like, oh, you thought you could defeat me? You thought you had me where you wanted me? Well, you didn't know about this. And then they pull out another explanatory bit of dialogue. Oh, no, there's a secret ingredient that you didn't know about. And, oh, but there's secret knowledge that you didn't know about. And, they keep flip-flopping back and forth, so they're drawing it out to the nth degree. Okay, did Rentaro win? Did Ryo win? And each of them, what they bring to the table, they start off describing Rentaro's, whole dish, what he put into it and everything like that. The judges taste it. It's almost hands down, okay, he won. But then Ryo is reminding them, no, you got to taste my dish first, before you can make a judgment call. They taste his dish. They're kind of leaning toward him. Okay, he takes the cake, but, you didn't, at once think about, Rentaro made ice cream and salmon ice cream, or whatever, a confectionery that's a side dish, and how it's complimentary, and but this is another new awakening in the judges' minds, and then back to, Ryo and everything, and they just kept flip-flopping back and forth, and I love that, like, that shonen trope. I was just watching of all things, the latest episode of Black Clover earlier in the day. I don't know why I'm still watching that, but there was kind of a similar dynamic where you had the main character Asta fighting this guy, and the guy comes back with this power, this magical ability, and then he comes back with his brute force again, and then this guy fights back, and it's constantly going back and forth. And that's exactly what happens so many times in Shokugeki no Soma, but because it's not an actual brute force battle, because it's actually dealing with the culinary arts and fragrances and ingredients and tastes and spices and all this kind of stuff, umami and everything like that, it's hilarious. So even this episode, where there's like not a whole hell of a lot to say, Ryo beat Rentaro. I pretty much figured that was going to happen. You saw every other RS and group and everything like that failing at Central's hand, and all the other Shokugekis that everyone from Polar Star was observing and recording, and for posterity as well as to take notes from and everything. You already knew, okay, well, chances are they're not going to let Alice, as represented by Ryo, lose against Central, against Rentaro. And, that whole back and forth, that whole teeter-totter, that whole game is what made this episode hilarious to me. I mean, I couldn't even remotely begin to tell you what the dishes were called. I know that salmon was involved. I know, Rentaro made some sort of ice cream confectionery thing as a side and whatever like that. And, Ryo had spinach, which was like one of the hidden secret layers, and people's clothes are flying off in the foodgasms as per usual, and that was all hilarious. Again, not much else need be said, but in order to make this video, I just wanted to make that observation that shonen-ness of Shokugeki no Soma, it was at the forefront in this episode, and that's one of the recurring redeeming factors of this show when you're not dealing with a character like Soma, who is just awesome sauce as a character, badass and takes no crap and everything, doesn't take no for an answer, keeps at it and keeps trying to learn, and he's never defeatist and all that kind of stuff. He never backs down. When you're not contending with the awesome sauce nature of a character like him, or the characterization, the interplay between him and an arena, or the way he's defending Polar Star, or having to learn going up against like Kuga and all this kind of stuff. When you don't have that going on, you have this very plain stated shonen-ness about Shokugeki no Soma. And it's just, that's the most hilarious aspect to me, which was in full force, on full flame in this episode. But props to Ryo for handing Rentaro his ass, and I can't wait to see what the fallout is that occurs as a result of that, if any, and we shall see what the next one beholds. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 10, Shokugeki no Soma-san no Sara, if you've seen it as well, if you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you agree with me that not much need really be said about it, but that shonen-ness, do you get a kick out of it too? Are you still watching this show? And is that one of the reasons? Let me know that in the comments below. Of course, anything goes. Our POVs can certainly disagree. It could be the thing you loathe the most about Shokugeki no Soma. Let me know that in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope this video finds you well. That'll be pretty much it for me on this, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.